right, hello everyone. It's Letitia with Barefoot Gardening. I hope that you're doing well. And so this is day number 2 with having the European night crawlers in the Worm Factory 360. And so we just want to check on them and make sure that they're okay. Now, typically you don't have to do this, checking on them every day, moving things around every day. That's what I'm, learning is that that's not really ideal. You want to give them time to settle in, and just make sure that they're okay. And that's all I want to do. This is my first time farming worms in a tower like the Worm Factory 360. It was a gift, and I just don't know how things work. So it's got me a little bit more curious, not really anxious, but curious about what's going on in here. And so right off the bat, this is the top of the soil. The paper is dry, but the worms are loving it. They're underneath, right here. And so we'll dig into there in a second. I do see moisture, which is good, and it looks like it's keeping the moisture in right under it. But you can see just right outside of where the paper was laying, it is all dry on the top. Now, that's typical too. I mean, if you grow plants, if you garden and things like that, the top surface of the soil is usually dry, right? Because it has the most exposure to air. So that doesn't alarm me too much. I just want to make sure that there is moisture, because worms do thrive with moisture and oxygen, and that this bin is not drying out fast, or trying to understand how this bin is working too, because again, I've never used it before. So I just want to learn its behavior so I can, with the environment that I'm giving it, so we can make sure that the worms just thrive in here. Well, good signs. There seems to be no worms trying to escape, right? I don't see anything on the sides. Okay, there's no way for them to get out on the bottom because there's no holes, but there are holes in the bottom of the tray. So I'm going to lift that up gently. And it's dry down here, so we don't have any leachate. I'm going to be pronouncing that correctly from this point on because I've been practicing. So leachate is liquid from the bin. If you have drip coming out here, your bin is too wet. Okay, that is not worm tea coming out. It is just anaerobic stuff or just too much liquid in your bin. So those are all good signs. We don't see any worms. They can come out again because there's holes here, but not yet. They haven't been able to do that yet. There's paper underneath the bin, on the bottom of the bin, that they probably will eventually eat through. But for now, it's only been 2 days. Everything's looking good. So again, we have the really moist area in the middle because that's where the paper was laying. Packaging paper. I came down yesterday to check on the paper as well. And this might be day 3, actually. But they came in on the 1st. So whatever, I don't know what today's date is. I think it's it's December 3rd. Okay, so, and the worms came in on the 1st. But the packaging paper here that I'm using to put on top of the surface, this dries out fast. Okay, but again, it's on the very, very top. It's keeping in the moisture, which is what I want it to do. I don't have plastic on top of this yet because this is all plastic, and I wanted to see if there would be a difference if I just didn't put plastic on top. So I don't know, just trying to figure it out. But let's if y'all remember, the worm chow and eggshells were here in the middle too. That's why I put that paper on top in the middle, and it looks like the worm chow is gone for the most part. The eggshells are still there, the ones that are really flaky, big pieces, and that's typical. So that's not those need time to break down. Really, when you give eggshells or grit, you kind of want it to be pulverized, like a powder type substance, but it's okay if it's not. I mean, they'll do the job soon. Look at this guy going through there. Can y'all see him? Let's see. Let me find my finger first. So I'm gonna move just gently, see what we can see. Woo! If I can find my finger. Look at them. They don't like that light, y'all. Look at there. That is so cool. So cool. How fast they move. Yeah. And I'm just going to go over here on this dry area and see how many worms we have on this side. There are a few, but it seems like a lot of them are in the middle, so they're gonna definitely go where the moisture is what I'm learning. But they're around. Yeah. Yeah. So the bin is not too dry, but I am going to water it just a little bit. Now, I've put water on it every day so far. And I think that's because when I initially set it up, I set it up with everything that came with the worm factory, but I did add a lot of cardboard. And that cardboard and paper too. Some of this paper came with the worm factory, okay? But the cardboard didn't. I added that myself, and it just soaks up the water. So it could be expected that when you have that much bedding that is cardboard paper, that it's possible that it could be dried out quicker, but I'm gonna mix it all together first, because sometimes the dry stuff can mix with the wet stuff and be okay. That's what I'm learning. But it still feels just a little dry to me. So I want these guys to thrive. I want them to thrive. Yeah. Look at there. And again, they thrive in an environment that is where the soil level or the soil temperature is 70 to 81, 85 degrees. And has some moisture. I'm in my basement here, so everything pretty, the soil temp stays about 68 to 70. Uh-oh, that guy's like tripping. He is freaking out. Which is pretty good. But sometimes I do turn the heater on. It's been getting a lot colder at night, and so I just turn the heater on for a bit to warm it up. And if you want your cocoons to hatch when these worms start to have baby eggs, and you want those to hatch, there are specific temperatures that you have to be at, like the 81 degrees to hatch those out. And so I don't know, I want them to just make babies. I haven't seen any cocoons in my farm yet. Now I haven't sifted anything yet. I started this in November. So I'm still pretty young in the game as far as trying to farm out my worms commercially, so that I can you know, create some income on the farm, but also promote soil health education. But it takes time. It takes time. And, you know, I hate to say it, but the right conditions, you know, I don't like to use that word, the right, you know, but there are, you know, just things that have been proven over time that work. So I'm trying to get good at learning that stuff and implementing it here on the farm. And I will, but you know, it's a process, I understand. But so far, guys, so good. This is really good to see. So let me get some water. Now my water, this is what I use to water. It's like a typical sprayer that you might see people use to spray insects outside or something like that, or in the house. Excuse me. It comes with a pump at the top here, and then I squeeze this to release the water. This is water from municipal water that has been in a gallon container, and I leave it setting out on the counter just like that with no top. And this has been setting out for about 72 hours. And that's what I usually water with. I try not to water using water straight out the tap as soon as it comes out the tap. Try to let that chlorine dissolve and whatever else, you know. So I'm just gonna, need to pump it. Okay. And I'm just gonna spray it. So I like to spray it real nice like, and then move it around. Just like that. Spray it again. And I found like this helps with a little bit of control as far as not overwatering, because you're not pouring, you know, just pouring stuff indirectly to the bin. And I mean, I guess you could do it that way, but it does help. Moving things around like this doesn't hurt the worms, is what I'm seeing, what I'm learning. They're pretty good. Good guys. They're resilient. I'm just going to spray a little bit more. And then I have a moisture meter, but I've kind of been doing this for a little bit over the years too. This is my first time ever worm farming. I'm just deciding to do it commercially now. And so I just kind of eyeball it, but that feels good. Now you can, because there's so many worms in here, I don't want to grab soil with a lot of worms, but if you just squeeze, there's one hanging out there. And it stays together. I'm just going to give it a light squeeze just in case. It stays together, and then you can knock it apart. It's pretty good. So I think the moisture is fine for now. I'm not going to overdo it. And that's that. Yeah. Well, the worms are looking great. Thank you all so much for following the journey here, as I am using the Worm Factory 360 for the first time. And I'm so grateful to have it, and more space to start more worm herding here. So I'm very grateful to my friend and farmer in this life, Miss Tanya. So thank you so much, Miss Tanya, for your gift. But till next time, thank you all so much for watching. And please, if this is your first time to the channel, thank you for being here. Join us, subscribe, and continue to follow the journey here. If you have any questions, please let me know. Yeah, we'll just keep following it every day. Every other day or so, I'll film, and we'll see how these guys are doing just for the first week, and I'll do that. And make sure that these guys are okay. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.